Natural Resource Standard 9, Chapter 14, we see the Part 2. Mineral riches in the soil. Soil is the uppermost layer of earth crust formed by the continuous withering of mountains. Factors causing soil formation are the sun, material, water, wind, living organism. Earth are broken down by various physical, chemical and biological process. Soil composition. Soil is a mixture of organic matter. The basic component of soil are mineral, inorganic matter, water and air. Various types of soils are clay, loam, slate, sand, etc. So these are the mineral riches in the soil. Now how this soil is formed, that we will see. Soil is formed by breaking down of rocks at or near the surface of the earth throughout various physical, chemical and biological processes by various factors such as sun, water, wind, living organism. Now one by one in detail we will see. Sun. During daytime the rocks are heated. This causes the rocks to expand. During night time, these rocks cool down and contract. Since all parts of the rocks do not undergo expansion and contraction at the same time, this causes the formation of cracks in this rock, that is, difference in temperature. These cracks leads to the breaking up of huge rocks into smaller pieces. Water. Water catalyzes the process of formation of soil into two ways. Water goes into the crack and cervix formed in the rocks. When this water freezes, its volume increases. As a result, the size of the crack also increases. This helps in the withering of rocks. Second important thing is running water. Running water wears away hard rocks over long period of time. Water moving in fast speed carries big and small particles of rock downstream. These rocks rub against each other, resulting in breaking down of rocks. These smaller particles are carried away by running water and deposited in its path. Third one is wind. Strong wind carry away rocks, which causes rubbing of rocks. This results in the breaking of rocks into smaller and smaller particles. Fourth one, living organism. Some living organisms like lichens helps in the formation of soil. Lichen also grows on rocks. During their growth, lichen release certain substance which causes the rock surface to powder down, forming a thin layer of soil. On this thin layer of soil, some small plants like moss also grow. They further causes the breaking down of rock particles. Now about humus. The inorganic constituent including the dry leaves, twigs, remains of plants and animals decompose to form the upper organic layer known as humus. It plays an important role in increasing the fertility of soil. Now we see about soil pollution. How soil get polluted. The addition of harmful or toxic chemicals to the soil which renders its unproductivity is called soil pollution. Fertilizer, insecticide, industrial waste, accidental oil spill, acid rain, etc. are the pollutants and the main cause of soil pollution. Next is soil erosion. Soil erosion is one form of soil degradation. Flowing water, rainwater and the wind are the prime agent which causes soil erosion. This causes loss of topsoil and also reduce crop production potential. Few textbook questions are carried over here. First one, we see what are the methods of preventing or reducing soil erosion. The method of preventing soil erosion are afforestation. Forests reduce erosion as the roots of tree holds the soil in the place. Second one, shelter belts. Tree planted in lines or hedges around farmland reduce erosion by reducing the speed of the wind. Counter plowing. Farmers plow land so that furrows lie across the natural slope of the land. These furrows trap water and do not allow it to flow down, carrying the top soil. Fourth one, terrace or step farming. A terraced hillside is less likely to be eroded than a natural hillside. Here a series of steps formed by horizontal strip supported by the wall catches the descending water. It gives the water sufficient time to percolate into the soil and nourish the crop. Fifth one, soil cover. Soil left bare after harvesting a crop is often covered with dry vegetation to prevent erosion. Steep slopes that cannot be plowed are covered with grass and pasture crop. And sixth one is preventing overgrazing. As the grass has a tendency to bind soil molecules, so even a very little grass on the field prevents erosion of soil. But if the grass is overgrazed, it is exposed to the soil for erosion. See the very important part of this chapter, that is biogeochemical cycle. A constant interaction between biotic and abiotic component of biosphere make a system, and this flow of component form a cycle called biogeochemical cycle. Bio means living, geo means geographically, chemical, and that. So biogeochemical is equal to biological chemical plus geological process. Some prominent cycles in nature are discussed here. The first one we discuss is water cycle. The whole process in which water evaporates and falls on the land as rain and water flows back into the sea via river is known as water cycle. It can also be defined as the water cycle is also known as hydrological cycle is a continuous movement of water from the earth's surface to the atmosphere and then back to the ground. Now in this figure we can see how the water cycle takes place with the following process. So the following process that involves water cycle are evaporation, transpiration, then you have respiration, precipitation, percolation and absorption, and even evaporation. So one by one we explain this cycle with the help of diagram. Water cycle, the whole process in which water evaporates and falls on the land as rain and water flows back into the sea via river is known as water cycle. The water cycle, also known as hydrological cycle, is a continuous movement of water from Earth's surface to the atmosphere and back to the ground. The main step involved in this water cycle are evaporation. Water on the earth changes to vapor due to sun's heat and rises above. Second one, transpiration. Plants absorb water through roots and then give excess of water in the form of vapor through the pores in their leaves. Now, respiration. It is a process in living organism involving the production of energy with the intake of oxygen and the release of carbon dioxide along with water vapor. Precipitation. It is the process of condensation of water vapor in atmosphere into liquid which falls down in the form of rain, snow, sleet or hail. Percolation and absorption. Some of the precipitation soak into the ground to reach the underground water. Some on the land get absorbed by the plant, crops and trees to grow, and the rest flows downhill in the runoff to reach the seas to complete the whole water cycle. Transpiration and evaporation. Transpiration is the biological process by which water is lost in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plants called stomata. Stomata, they have a very small pore on the back side of the leaves. Evaporation is a process by which a liquid or solid is transformed into vapor. The very important cycle, nitrogen cycle. The nitrogen cycle is the recycling and reusing of nitrogen in different forms to meet the demands of various environmental activities. The sequence in which nitrogen passes from the atmosphere to the soil and organism and then eventually released back into the atmosphere is called nitrogen cycle. We know that atmosphere has 78% of nitrogen, but no living organism can directly utilize this atmospheric nitrogen. It is utilized in the form of its nitrate. So we see how nitrogen involves the process. The first important process is nitrogen fixation. It is a process by which atmospheric nitrogen is converted into the form which can be easily absorbed the organism on the earth. This figure will help us to see how plants they take in the atmospheric nitrogen, that is fixation, biological fixation through symbiosis. This whole diagram help us to explain the nitrogen cycle. Second, nitrogen fixation is carried out by the two ways. By lightning. When lightning occurs, the high temperature and pressure converts nitrogen and water into nitrates and nitrites, which get dissolved in water and are readily used by aquatic plants and animals. Second fixation is done by bacteria, and this is known as biological fixation. The first one by lightning is known as physical fixation. Now by bacteria, molecular nitrogen is converted into nitrates and nitrite by free-living bacteria or bacteria like Rhizobium that are present in the root nodules of leguminous plant. Some bacteria, they convert the nitrogen gas into ammonia, NH3, which plant can use. The second important process, we call it as nitrification. It is the process by which ammonia is converted into nitrites and nitrates. Third, ammonification. It is the process by which soil bacteria decompose the dead organic matter and release ammonia into the soil. That means once that get fixed in the form of nitrite, these are taken up by the plants and the form of its protein. Plants are eaten by animals, so they get converted into animal protein. So the process goes on like this, and when plants and animals die, the dead body get decomposed, and there are some denitrifying bacteria which they convert this nitrate into atmospheric nitrogen. So the fourth step is denitrification. It is the process by which nitrates are converted into atmospheric nitrogen back to complete the cycle. So see the figure again. Nitrogen in atmosphere, that is been fixed by biological fixation by bacteria into the soil. From the soil, with the help of nitrification process, it is taken up by plants and animals. Plants, as their food is taken by animals. When plants and animals die, the dead body get decomposed, and that death and decomposed will again come back to the soil, that is known as ammonification. When the soil, those which get decomposed by denitrifying bacteria that release back the nitrogen into the atmosphere. Now we see about carbon cycle. Before carbon cycle, what is carbon? Carbon is a chemical element with the symbol C. It is a non-metallic chemical element found in various forms. In elemental form, diamond and graphite. In combined form, it is as carbon dioxide and carbonate. Carbon containing molecules are protein, carbohydrate, fat, nucleic acids and vitamin. Carbon cycle. The circulation and transformation of carbon between the living things and the environment are called the carbon cycle. The carbon cycle is the process by which carbon moves from the atmosphere into the earth and its organism and then back again. Carbon cycle involves the following process. The first one is photosynthesis. In this process, plants form their food by absorbing the atmospheric carbon in the form of carbon dioxide and release oxygen gas. We can see the figure, we can see how plants they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen gas, and this cycle continues. The second process, and that is respiration. In this process, plants and animals respire, resulting in the breakdown of glucose stored in the plants and animals to release carbon dioxide, water and energy. When these plants and animals die, decomposition process. In this process, dead plants and animals get decomposed to release carbon into the environment. Those bodies which are there in the earth crust after millions of years, they get converted into fuel by the process of combustion. So fourth one is combustion. Burning of fuel, fossil fuel releases carbon dioxide gas in the environment as a byproduct. Movement of carbon from the atmosphere to the ocean. The ocean and the other water body soak up about a quarter of carbon dioxide to form carbonates. The last cycle, oxygen cycle. It is a biological process which helps in maintaining the oxygen level. Photosynthesis is the biological process used by the plant to prepare their food with the help of sunlight and energy. Oxygen cycle involves the following process. First one, respiration. All living organisms take in simple sugar, glucose and oxygen and release carbon dioxide, water and energy. Second one, combustion. During the process of combustion or burning, oxygen reacts with carbon to form carbon dioxide gas. The third one is photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide gas from the atmosphere is absorbed by the green plant in presence of sunlight to form carbohydrate and oxygen. Thus, oxygen is liberated in the atmosphere. Now we see the important topic, greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is the natural phenomenon which occurs when the greenhouse gases present in Earth's atmosphere trap solar radiation. Carbon dioxide CO2, methane CH4, ozone O3, chlorofluorocarbon CFC, nitrous oxide N2O and water vapor H2O are called greenhouse gases. Ozone layer. The ozone layer is a thin part of the Earth's atmosphere which functions as a shield over the Earth's stratosphere and absorbs the greatest amount of sun's ultraviolet radiation. The ozone layer comprises high concentration of ozone O3 in relation to other parts of the atmosphere. Now this ozone layer is getting depleted. Now ozone layer depletion we see. Ozone layer depletion is the reduction of the amount of ozone in the stratosphere which results in greater ultraviolet UV means ultraviolet radiation reaching the Earth's surface. CFC, that is chlorofluorocarbon, is an organic compound that contains carbon, chlorine and fluorine. Now we see some important textual exercise. How is our atmosphere different from the atmosphere on Venus and Mars? Our atmosphere contains a mixture of many gases like nitrogen 78.08%, oxygen 20.95%, carbon dioxide 0.03% and water vapor in varying proportion. Whereas the atmosphere on Venus and Mars are mainly comprised of carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide constitutes of 95 to 97% of the atmosphere on Venus and Mars. It is supposed that due to this reason, no life is known to exist on this planet. Second question, how does the atmosphere act as a blanket? It is a known fact that air is a bad conductor of heat and our atmosphere contains mainly the air. Due to this reason, the atmosphere keeps the average temperature of the earth fairly steady during the day and even during the course of the whole year. The atmosphere prevents the sudden increase in temperature during the daylight hour and during night it slows down the escape of heat into outer space. What causes wind? Wind are caused due to the unequal heating of atmospheric air. This phenomenon can be easily seen near coastal region during the daytime. The air above the land gets heated faster and start rising. As this air rises, a region of low pressure is created, and air over the sea moves into the air of lower pressure. The movement of air from one region to the other creates wind. During the day, the direction of the wind would be from sea to the land. Now we see how our clouds form. The water evaporates due to the heating up of water bodies and other biological activity. The air also heats and rises. On rising, it expands and cools to form finer, tiny droplets. These droplets grow bigger, expand and forms cloud. The collection of dust and other suspended particles facilitates the Now list the 3 human activities that you think would lead to air pollution. Human activities that leads to air pollution: excessive use and burning of fossil fuel like coal, petroleum produce different oxides of nitrogen and sulfur. These are not only dangerous to our respiratory system but also leads to acid rain. Incomplete combustion of various fuels forms unburnt carbon particles which lowers the visibility, especially in cold weather when water also condenses out of air. This is also known as smog or is invisible indication of air pollution. Larger usage of automobiles, improperly tuning of engine leads to the formation of carbon monoxide gas and other oxides of nitrogen which causes lot of respiratory problem. Forest fire, excessive mining, ore refining, excessive use of chlorofluorocarbons and excessive industrialization also leads to air pollution. All this we have seen in our chapter. Why is atmosphere essential for life? Atmosphere is essential for life because of the following reason. It keeps the average temperature of Earth fairly steady due to day and even during the course of whole year. It prevents the sudden increase in temperature during the daylight hour. It contains all the important gases which are required for sustaining life on Earth. These gases are oxygen for respiration of living organism and oxidation, carbon dioxide for photosynthesis in plants and for making food, nitrogen for providing inert atmosphere and making proteins. The stratosphere, that is 16 to 23 kilometers from the surface of the Earth of atmosphere, contain a thick layer of ozone which filters the harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. If this radiation reaches on the surface of the Earth, then they may cause cancer in animals and also harmful for plants. Why is water essential for life? Water is considered essential for life because of the following reason. First one, all cellular process takes place in water medium. All the reaction that takes place within our body and within the cells occurs between the substance that are dissolved in water. Substances are also transported from one part of the body to other in dissolved form. Water makes up about 70% of body weight of all living organisms. Fifth one, it helps in digestion of food, absorption of nutrient in the blood. Hence, organism needs to maintain the level of water within their bodies in order to stay alive. And the last important, it helps in maintaining body temperature. Write a note on how forests influence the quality of our air, soil and water resource. Forests influence the quality of air, soil and water resource in the following way. Influence of forest in controlling the quality of air. Forest helps in minimizing the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This prevents the greenhouse effect and global warming. Forests reduce environmental temperature, which in turn increase the rate of photosynthesis in plants and in surrounding region. Some of these trees have the ability to absorb harmful gases present in the atmosphere. There is jamun tree, you can see they can absorb compounds of lead easily. Next important is influence of forest in controlling the quality of soil. The roots of huge trees larger areas and prevent erosion of topsoil by holding the soil particles tightly. Forest also regulates biogeochemical cycles which are responsible for cycling of nutrients and making them available for the plants in the soil. Many of the decomposing bacteria and nitrogen-fixing bacteria live in close association with the roots of the trees. The last one, influence of forest in controlling the quality of water. Forest helps in returning water back to the surface of the earth through rain. Forest helps in maintaining water cycle as well as water resource of the earth.